What's good, Shinigami? First, yes, sir. Though, to be fair, this was kind of a sneaky scream because I didn't expect me to make it today, and I didn't give anyone a heads up I was screaming today. Started storyboarding chapter 1. Hey, nice, man. Nice. Good to hear. Gonna upload as much as possible. Look forward when it leaves. First 5 chapters already. Nice, bro. Nice. Good to hear. What's good, Karibo? Karibo, Shinigami. How was y'all weekend, man? I'm eating real quick, but then we're gonna get right into it. How's y'all weekend? What's good, Rev? Pretty good? That's good to hear. How you doing, Rev? Rev, how was your weekend as well, bro? I hope everyone's going good and in good health and good spirits. How y'all doing? Thought you would do JJK soon. We are going to do JJK. We're going to try reading JJK. Well, so here's the thing about reading. I think it might be best. Oh, is this playing through the mic too? It is playing through the mic. That's right. Let me do this real quick. So, had a good weekend. My weekend was good. That's great. That's great. Everyone had a good weekend. Perfect. Love to hear it. So the thing about the reading is, what I don't want is, I don't want a reading session to where it's like too boring for you guys. I don't mind, but I understand not everyone comes here to see me read. You know what I mean? If it's Boruto or something like Bleach, I'm pretty sure people will stick around. But New Age Exorcist, I'll have to probably start reading on my own. And debatably JJK too. For JJK, there's a lot of talking and not a lot of action. Like for Boruto, I could kind of just skip straight to the action parts. I could kind of just, skim, okay, read this here. Okay, cool. Naruto, this, that, and the third. Okay, cool. Boruto, Himawari, Broken Vase. Okay, cool. And then just get to the fighting, get to the scaling. For JJK, I'd have to read a good majority of things. Number one, to get an understanding. Number two, they have an overstanding of the actual scaling and what's going on. So I don't want it to be too boring for you guys. For Bleach, I could do like the back of my fucking hand. We could read all of Bleach and it would be entertaining because I know when to skip and I know when not to skip. I know it's important. I know it's not important, etc., etc., etc. But for the other series, it's a little harder to determine. So we'll see with that. Today's topic, though, is we're going to be talking about One Piece, Naruto, and Bleach for my next video idea. Hey, Kai, you late? Maybe too late. Shinigami beat you to it. I came for the speak chin music and I won't pass the ox. Hey, how many stocks do we really got to stock? Hey, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Hope people will turn up for my manga and that it won't be boring. Hey, here's the thing, Shinigami. Boring or not, I know how much work you've personally been putting into this manga. It's going to get read, whether it's just me and you, whether it's just me. You know what I mean? It's going to get read. We're not doing that. For you, Shinigami, you're always encouraging me to stream more, number one, so I definitely appreciate that. Like I said, me and you go way, way back into the Twitter conversations. We're going to cover your manga, bro. No worries about that. We're going to cover yours on stream. And I'm pretty sure everyone will be supportive as well. I'm excited for it. Excuse me, guys. I'm just eating. I was kind of rushing home from work. Really wasn't going to stream, but like I said, Shinigami, he kind of keeps me on this shit. I was like, fuck it, let me get home. I got something I want to talk about anyway. So we streaming. Yours truly, Highness Zoro. How are you doing tonight? I hope you had a good weekend as well. Hope you had a good weekend as well. Yeah, there we go. Let me finish these pretzel bites and I got y'all. Because tonight's topic, like I said, we'll be going into my next video. So you see the thumbnail. And mind you guys, this thumbnail, I made it in about 5 minutes. Like, I literally made that thumbnail at like 7:50 to 7:55. So it took me 5 minutes. So it's a rush job, but it's not terrible. I've definitely come a long way since paying people to do my thumbnails, since having shitty thumbnails, to actually them being pretty good to look at. So shout out to me. Shout out to you guys. Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. All right. For the most part, I'm done, I guess. Where's the lid? I'll have to finish the rest of this food later. But it's okay. Because I got something in my stomach. That's all that counts. That's all that matters. Why won't the lid come on? Come on. Come on. Okay. That lid does not want to go on. Let's try this lid. All right, neither lid wants to go on. All right, y'all. So, of course, you see the thumbnail. We're talking about Naruto and Luffy versus the Gotei 13. But not Naruto and Luffy together. No. This is just a representation of what it would be, though. Right? So we would have beginning of the series Luffy, or midway maybe midway Luffy, and early Shippuden Naruto, because no other version of Naruto is stepping foot in Soul Society and expecting to do anything significant. Right? Basically swapping villains for Ichigo. So either Luffy or either Naruto would have to contend with a Byakuya. They'd have to contend with Kenpachi or their squad, right? So for Naruto, this would be Naruto, Sakura, Sai, and Kakashi versus the Gotei 13. For Luffy, this would be Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Nami, and Usopp versus the Gotei 13. I think it's very interesting. I think it'll be really fun to see just when and where these characters can beat certain characters from Bleach. Or if they just get hard stopped by certain characters from Bleach. I think that'll be really fun to do. What are your guys' opinions on it, though? If we take early Shippuden Naruto or like East Blue Luffy and start them at Soul Society arc, how far do you think individually their teams get? This is tough. This is tough for a few reasons. When doing something like this, Here's the thing. Ichigo's squad split up. I don't think the ninja would split up. The pirates are definitely splitting the fuck up. I know that's happening 100%. Zoro's going to get lost. Luffy's going to smell some food cooking and run that way. Usopp's going to try and follow one of them. He's going to get lost because he's too slow. Nami's going to be like, Sanji, this is that and the third. Sanji's staying with Nami. You know what I mean? So the pirates are going to split up, but Naruto's team might stick together. And there's power in numbers. And here's the thing. Though I don't believe any one of them are strong enough individually to do serious damage, 4 to 5 of them is a threat. Mind you, if we're taking the Ikkaku that fought Ichigo, he did not release his Bankai, so that's where he would stop. He didn't release his Bankai in early Soul Society, so he would be capped at just his Shikai Hozukimaru. Personally, I do believe Naruto, Kakashi, Sai, and Sakura have a chance of beating Ikkaku and Yumishika if he does not go Bankai. And if Yumishika is not using his Shikai. I think they have a good chance, to be honest with you guys. Like, all bullshit aside, the speed difference is still going to be there. The thing is, Ikkaku fights for fun. There's 4 of them. Naruto can, at this point, can make 100 clones. All that can probably use Rasengan too. Kakashi has Lightning Blade. He has Mud Wall. He has Water Style. I think it'll be a rough. It could get slicey. It could get scary for them. What do you guys think about that though? Let's see. Hey, what's good? Shit, what's good, Ig? I've returned. What's the topic? Praise me. What's good, Ig? How you doing, bro? How you doing? Nice to see you. Bro would give himself bronze, silver, and gold in the Olympics. What a man. What's good, Nick? How are you? At what point is Naruto and Luffy at in their own story? Yeah, so we would be taking early Shippuden Naruto and like East Blue Luffy. So I want to say when Luffy was probably around fighting, I want to say after Crocodile, but before Enel, because when we get to Enel, it gets a little weird for Naruto. And I'm going to have to review this, I'm going to have to review the manga because I've only watched it so far. It gets a little weird for Luffy and his crew because they start dodging lightning literally out of nowhere. There's it would be considered an outlier if it wasn't so consistent. But there's no prior consistency for it, which is just weird. So I'll see how I handle that. But generally that. Are Naruto and Luffy replacing Ichigo and friends for the Rukia rescue? Yes, Kuribo. Thank you. Yes, Kuribo. That's basically what's going on. They're basically replacing Rukia and friends for the rescue. In this scenario, we can have the Gotei 13 kidnap Nico Robin. And they can take Sasuke, and they're trying to get Sasuke back. So basically like that, yeah. Ab-Stract, I could probably make a doc about JJK's power system and general concepts so that you can kind of just go into the battle chapters with context. Ayo, Rev, that would be really nice. It's not, I don't know every little detail. I get the most things, cursed energy from what I see, pretty much works and functions like Nen. It's not too dissimilar from Nen. Binding vows, I would probably need a big refresher on. Things like Hollow Wicker Basket, Simple Domains, and all that other tricky stuff. I'd need a refresher on. I'd need the docs for all that stuff. Yeah. But as soon as Kenpachi comes in, it's over. See, that's what we'd have to talk about. That's what we would have to talk about. Because here's the thing, especially in One Piece, right? One Piece's fights are very goofy. And that's not unfair to say. They're very goofy. A lot of things go on in their fights that's like, am I watching a kid's cartoon show? Or are they being serious? A lot of things go on that would suggest it's just a very goofy environment for when fighting. And not all fights, of course, but you see Zoro and Usopp doing a sword thing together because they're handcuffed together. Mind you, if they were ever handcuffed together in Soul Society and they're fighting captains, they die. No ifs, ands, or but about it. It's not going to be this charade of a game to where, we're not going to attack them. Usopp, now you're a sword Usopp. That's not ever happening. They die if they're handcuffed together in Bleach. That is, even in Naruto, ninja aren't going to take it easy on them because they're handcuffed together. You think somebody cares that you're handcuffed together? You think he's going to not attack you? No, you're going to get fucked up. So yeah, One Piece is very goofy. That's like how all the banter that goes back and forth between Nami and whoever she's fighting. Like if Nami's fighting Soifone, Nami dies unless Sanji is there to protect her. I only did that because it's like girl on girl. But like, yeah, if Nami is fighting a Soifone, she's done. And Sanji can't hit Soifone, oh yeah, they're both probably dying. They're both probably dying. Momo solos the verse on accident because she had a date with Aizen in 0.2 seconds. Laugh my ass off, yo. What order do you have the Gotei in? I have the Gotei in the same order that they would have rescued Rukia in. So the first person they would come across is Ikkaku and Yumishika. They would then fight Renji. Whoever spread off from the group would fight Mayuri. Whoever else spread off from the group would fight Captain Kirako, which we already know. Like, those are both guaranteed losses for whoever's fighting them. Sorry, you're not beating Mayuri and you're not beating Kirako, first off. So it would probably leave Luffy to fight Kenpachi and Naruto to fight Kenpachi. And then if they can get past Kenpachi, they have Byakuya to deal with. Byakuya is a harder knight. So yeah, that's kind of what I want to look at. That's kind of what I want to do. I thought it'd be really fun to see where these two go, where they stop. Zoro would get lost within Sarate. Yeah, see, Zoro might get so lost that he doesn't end up fighting anybody. That'd be the funny part. He doesn't end up fighting anybody. No joke, third seats are more than enough. Don't do it to me, Rev. Don't do that, man. I want to make it, but see, but that's why I want them strong enough to progress, but not so strong where it's like, well, I mean, I'm using end of series Naruto or, post time skip Luffy. I don't want them that strong because then it's like, well, all right, well, yeah, they probably beat those versions of the Soul Society. Why don't they just split up same as the Bleach cast do to the barrier thing? Well, so that only happened because Ichigo couldn't control his Reiatsu. At this point, I think it would be fair to say Naruto has decent enough chakra control to where they wouldn't have to split up. And kind of the same with Luffy's crew. He's very, like, Luffy stretches and grabs his crew together all the time. I would argue Luffy and his crew would split up just because that's literally what they always do. But the ninjas sticking together, you could actually make a case for that. One could actually make a case for that. Sasuke, when Kishimoto isn't there to give plot armor. Oh my god, boy oh boy. I'd give them that. Nirvana, yeah, you're right. But maybe, though, there's certain techniques they can eventually find each other. Yumishika, though strong, really isn't doing much. Yeah. I can agree to that. I see Nami or Usopp running into Shisui. Oh, wait. You mean... Wait. Shinsui. Okay, yeah, Shinsui, yeah. It would be very fortunate if they ran into Shinsui, yeah. But then who's going to fight Mayuri? Someone needs to fight Mayuri. And Mayuri went after a female and a male last time, so he would probably go after Nami and Sanji. And then Sanji would probably fight Mayuri. Actually, that's good. I like that. Hey, Kai, you're onto something. I like that. Keep it up. Binding vows are just a plot device for Sukuna. That's crazy. Depends on what stats are given to everyone. Giving Rangiku her soul pressure a threat to the living world. Taking settles at light speed. Neither side goes far. Scale lower than both can survive-ish. I wouldn't scale it like that, though. I wouldn't scale it like that. What I would do is just find similar inverse feats for that time. For example, when Ichigo is able to cut Jidambo's sword swings, but he's not able to overpower Ikkaku, and Ikkaku is able to hurt him, I just need to find similar feats like that in One Piece to say, okay, cool, this is like a bare minimum feat or bare minimum energy or force that both can tank and survive. For Naruto, we already know what it is for Naruto. I'm not going to act like I can find something in there. I just won't be able to do it. For Naruto, they're going to have to rely on their ninja trickery, but which is why they would also probably stay together. Yeah, they'd probably stay together. And they'll get the same thing. Like, everyone's going to find Hinataro. Hinataro is going to heal Luffy. Hinataro is going to heal Kakashi, his eye, Naruto. Even though they have Sakura, Hinataro is going to heal because he's part of Squad 4. He's going to do that. What is this again? Just joined. Hey, what's good, Sabbath? So we're talking about if Naruto from the beginning of his series or like midway through his series versus the early Gotei 13 or the early Soul Society arc people, or if we did Luffy and his crew versus Soul Society arc captains. Basically, how Karibo said it, basically this: could Naruto / Luffy, either one of them, rescue Rukia? In Luffy's case, it would be rescuing Nico Robin. In Naruto's case, it would be rescuing Sasuke from execution. That's essentially what we would be doing. We'd be putting them in Ichigo and his friends' shoes to see how far they get. SH and Team 7 versus Gotei. Oh yeah, Straw Hats and Team 7 versus Gotei. Nice, nice. So a kitty versus kitty fight. Kind of. Binding vow is just you make a vow to yourself to sacrifice something to gain something new. Like, I'll sacrifice my range attacks for stronger AP with close range attacks. Okay, gotcha. Okay. So it almost sounds like a what is it called in Hunter x Hunter? A pact or a nen vow? That's what. Yeah, it almost sounds like a nen vow. Let me put it this way: One Piece fights are goofy because both sides are goofy. Imagine Luffy standing there with a big ass smile, slowly shouting "Gama Gama no!" Exactly, bro. Yeah, exactly. And I've always said that. I was like, yo, Tay, Luffy would try that gum shit and get his arm cut the fuck off playing with someone from Bleach. It just wouldn't work. Now, of course, this changes down the line because his hits actually do get faster. But like, there have been times where he stretches and his arm is still out there. I'm like, yo, no one's gonna cut his arm off or something. No one's gonna grab his arm or no one's gonna blitz him while he's just standing. So it is what it is. But yeah, the goofiness is what's going to hurt the One Piece cast, and the lack of power is going to help. Is going to be what hurts the Naruto cast. See, but I'm going to give the Naruto cast the numbers because I really do think they wouldn't separate. They don't separate a lot. Like, when you think about the Naruto squads, they don't really separate like that. I think the only time they did was when Deidara went to go, distract Kakashi and Naruto, and Sasuke had to fight Chiyo and Sakura. But here's the thing: if Chiyo wasn't there, they would have prioritized doing only one of those things. Like, it would have either been Kakashi, who was the strongest at that point, fighting Sasuke by himself, and Naruto and Sakura going, or they all go. And it only makes sense to leave Kakashi because he is the strongest. But it's still like, I don't think they would just do it just to do it. Both Naruto and Luffy team don't pass Soul Society arc. I don't know, Ig. It depends on where I put. See, Luffy has a higher chance, but you're probably right. It's still a no. Like, until he learns Haki, I really don't believe. I really don't believe he can, but I don't want to come off as biased. Like, I'm going to give them a fighting chance. And by that I mean, well, no. So here's the thing. I think One Piece actually does have a fighting chance. They have a fighting chance with, of course, the main fighters being Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. So it would be Luffy versus Ikkaku. Zoro would literally just be running around. We would probably have Zoro fight Renji. And while Luffy is recovering from his fight with Ikkaku, Kenpachi would find Luffy because they would seek each other out because they are the strongest. Luffy has an actual habit of seeking out the strongest fighter in any given circumstance. It would be Kenpachi. Kenpachi would hunt Luffy down, find him, and they would fight. Sanji, Nami, and Usopp would have to take on Mayuri. Mayuri would be tracking Nami for her climb attack technology that he's interested in. Why not, right? And Sanji would do his thing. Get back, you can creep. Get back, you weirdo. All this other stuff. Sanji was doing his thing. They would fight. And yeah. Usopp would run away. And he would run right into Kaname Tosen. Kaname Tosen would say, cry Suzumushi. And that would knock him out. Now, who would run into Shunsui, though? Maybe I should give them the whole crew. Maybe like Frankie and Brook run into Shunsui. Yeah. So, but based on Kenpachi's fighting style, he would want the best fight he could have with Luffy. I'm not even mad saying that they would draw because Kenpachi would literally want the best fight he could have with Luffy. So if they did draw, Luffy would go on to fight Byakuya at this point. And after having after getting Gear 5, that would give him the speed he would need to fight Byakuya. See, but this is all after Enel. Yeah, it's gonna be hard, and I'll need someone to like cross-reference some stuff with me. It'll be hard, but yeah. When fights end in Bleach in blitzes, yeah, it really does. Like a lot of times, fights just end in a blitz. As soon as they hear Bankai, they cooked. Sheesh, I'm gonna be the king of the pirates, Sunbone Sakura. Early Shippuden got at least 4 Kamui uses in him. Kenpachi messes around too much to say he doesn't get hit. No, I'm not going to lie to you, Karibo. When Kenpachi goes to give them both a free shot, unless Naruto, and even then, Naruto's not going to be able to hurt Kenpachi on his first attempt. He's not going to be able to. He's going to have to bust out the Rasen Shuriken. Mind you, Ichigo can casually destroy 2 giant steel blades with a casual swing. And his Getsuga can vaporize however much of that rock structure it was. He couldn't hurt Kenpachi with a full power swing. A Rasengan is not doing it. Mind you, we haven't even seen the Rasengan vaporize anything. We haven't seen it. Boy, oh boy, Rasengan. Yeah. It's going to be really bad for them to go up against, especially Naruto by himself, to go up against Kenpachi. Because he's just going to be by himself. He's not going to have a rage amp. There will be no Nine-Tail. Not really. Like, you could argue it, but it's like, eh. Like, I'll probably have to give it to him to keep him alive for a little longer, but it's not going to be like, you know. Now, Luffy, on the other hand, Luffy's first attack against Kenpachi, I have to see what Luffy is capable of around the time I plan on using him. Because depending on that, it'll tell us if he gets hurt or not. But Luffy definitely has a higher chance of hurting Kenpachi. Yeah, you said early Shippuden got at least 4 Kamui uses in him. Yeah, so here's the thing. At that point, his Kamuis... Well, first off, we've kind of been over this. He's not going to Kamui anyone as an attack. It only worked on Deidara because his bird was flying in a goddamn straight path. Wasn't moving or dodging. And the second it did move or dodge, he didn't hit anyone with it again. So he's not going to be using Kamui on people he can't even fucking perceive. Because they'll be too fast for him. He gets hit, nothing happens. Kenpachi hasn't really shown a counter to Kamui. He doesn't need a counter to Kamui. He doesn't need one. He'll simply, like, did Deidara show a counter to Kamui aside from moving away from Kamui? No, he'll just move away from the attack. What are we talking about? Sasuke the damsel. Sasuke is that, though. Kamui cannot overwhelm his Reiatsu. I wouldn't even argue it like that, because Kamui doesn't technically work on, like, yes, it's a hacks, but it's more so one that really is independent of stats and other haxes. At least I think so, at least. If Sasuke was a woman, it would be the best love story in Naruto, LOL. It really would be, yeah. You can't prove it can't or even has to. Come again. Naruto's clones are weaker than him. Example, if he makes 100 clones, those clones will be 100 times weaker. If he splits his chakra amongst all of them like he did to Neji, if not, they will be weaker. Well, so they'll have less durability, but for the most part, the clones he makes seem to retain the AP. They seem to. At the very least, they seem to retain the AP. And this is just coming from his clones being able to fight A and having enough force to make A's lightning armor and his finger go through him. His clones going to every battlefield, one-shotting Zetsus, fighting Edo Tensei, and all this other stuff. They seem to maintain the AP. Soul Society art characters are in the planetary range. Hey, don't do that to me, bro. Don't do that to me, Ig. Planetary? I don't know if I can stand on. I can't. I know I can't. I can't stand on planetary. Not at that point. Like, if you're gonna say they're on planetary range at that point, I'm guessing you're accepting scaling from statements, right? And if you're going to accept the scaling from statements, that means you would have to accept the scaling from statements from both Naruto and One Piece. I don't like statement scaling. Not enough things we can prove. Not enough things we can definitively claim with enough evidence to support them. Zoro will, funny enough, end up where Chad did and get cooked by Shinsui. I'd want to give Zoro a real fight, though. I feel like Zoro and Renji would be a really good fight. Like, it's either this. It's either Luffy fights Renji or Zoro fights Ikkaku. Though I'm not too partial to that either. Or I'm not too mad at that either. I keep saying partial. I keep using that word incorrectly, but it's okay. I'm not too mad at Zoro fighting Ikkaku either, because that'll be a high diff fight for Zoro at that time. By himself. That'll be a high diff fight for Zoro. Luffy versus Renji, that would also be a good fight, because Renji... Actually, no. That actually might have to be how it goes. We would have Renji fighting Luffy, and Zoro and Usopp fighting Yumi Chika and Ikkaku. That makes perfect sense. And then Sanji and Yami. Oh, I gotta write this down. That's good. That was really good. Okay, let's do that. Sanji and Nami versus Mayuri. Luffy versus Renji. Yes. And Zoro and Usopp versus Ikkaku and Yumi Chika. See, and that's perfect because it actually works fucking perfectly, because Usopp is going to be like Ganju. Ganju just ran away from Yumi Chika. He used like his Shiba Clan style explosives. Usopp's going to use his explosives to try and, ward him off, fend him off, whatever. And then Renji can fight Ikkaku. That's going to be good. That'll be good. That'll be really good. And then Luffy's going to land... we'll kind of just skip around. Luffy's going to wander for like a day or two, and then he'll fight Renji in the morning. After fighting Renji, he'll either lose or he'll heal, then go on to fight Kenpachi. After fighting Kenpachi, he'll either win, lose, or draw, and then he'll go on to fight Byakuya. In Naruto's shoes, I don't know if I can separate all of them. Let me see. Would Naruto fight Ikkaku and Kakashi fight Renji? Because at that point, Kakashi is stronger than Naruto. Like, the only way Naruto is winning most of these fights is with the Nine-Tails influence. But the only reason he really only showed Nine-Tails influence was because Gaara was dead and Kakashi and Sasuke was, Orochimaru was like baiting him with Sasuke and stuff. So it's a little hard to argue Nine-Tails influence, especially since he can't control it. It would really probably only pop out in life or death scenarios. Who do you think wins, Renji or Zoro? I got Renji at this point. The fact that, so Zoro at this point, he can't cut steel. It's like Alabasta. He can't cut steel at will. He's very powerful. He's very strong, very durable, but he can't cut steel. Not that like that makes or breaks him, right? He can't cut steel though. At this point, he doesn't really have any speed feats. He'll be able to react to Renji graciously, right? He'll be able to react to Renji, but at this point, Renji is bullying the Ichigo that can destroy 2 steel axes with the swing of a hand. He has Shikai, 5 times boost in power. Yeah, I got Renji, but that's why Luffy's going to be fighting Renji probably. Also, takes on Zoro versus Sasuke, Grimmjow versus Sasuke. My girlfriend wants a Grimmjow to win, LOL, in Uryu versus Zoro. Ooh. Zoro versus Sasuke. It depends on when we're talking about. Is it like end of series Zoro versus Sasuke right now? Grimmjow versus Sasuke. It doesn't matter what version of Grimmjow we use, he's beating Sasuke. And Uryu versus Sasuke. There'd be no way for Sasuke to tag Uryu. Uryu literally uses Kyaku pretty much every time he moves when he's fighting. Pretty much he's using Kyaku every time he moves. Naruto characters cannot keep up with that, bro. They can't keep up with someone moving from A to B every time they do something in every instance. And that's like Uryu's go-to thing, to use Kyaku to move. Sasuke should be able to defend, well, not this Uryu, but like if we're talking early Uryu, Sasuke should be able to defend all his attacks with Susanoo if we give it to him at this point, at that point in the story. If he doesn't have the Susanoo, it's going to be a hard fight for him because he'll have to continuously dodge Lee Dragon, all of Uryu's charged Quincy arrows. And he'll have to watch out for Uryu's traps. Naruto needs Four Tails Cloak or Sage Mode, and Luffy needs Gear 3 to say they have a chance. Yeah, that's not unfair to say. Yeah, I agree with that. I can agree with that. Last I checked, 66 plus adult Naruto manga version is still in the planetary ranges. Sage of Six Pass adult Naruto manga version is still in the planetary ranges. Planetary what, Ig? Planetary DC? Maybe, but probably not that either. Definitely not planetary AP. Mayuri would best match Sanji. He's an interesting experimental subject like Uryu. I agree. That's why Mayuri would follow Nami and Sanji, and then they would, yeah. Kai, stop the cap. Oh, you know what, Ig? Yeah, you know what? Ah, shit. Today would have been good. You know what? We can probably... Ayo, Ig, we can probably do a collab tomorrow if you're free, bro. We can probably do a collab tomorrow if you're free. No Bankai and Shikai for Bleach characters. Ikkaku will not be getting his Bankai because he doesn't unveil his Bankai until he fights Eterard. Byakuya will get his Bankai, correct? And then Renji fights Byakuya, so he doesn't really fight anyone from Ichigo's team with his Bankai. But yeah. The base Rasengan is like Cyclops' eye beams compared to Getsuga Tensho being Superman's heat vision. Rasengan is just focused concussive force. Yeah. Correct. I don't think anyone actually believes that Rasengan at that point, actually at any point, will do anything to Kenpachi. It's not going to do like crazy. It's not going to do anything. Kamui uses chakra just as Soifon's death stabs use Ryatsu. Kenny can and will just no sell all 4 Kamui. That's so funny. That's so funny. Not mad at the logic. It's just funny. The funny thing is, if we do this vice versa, like if we take Ichigo fighting most of Naruto's villains, It's kind of bad. Like, just imagine that. Ichigo's first fight is technically Sasuke. He runs into Sasuke trying to save, you know what I mean? Sasuke tries that blitz on Ichigo, and Ichigo cuts him in fucking half. Like, bro. It's not working on Ichigo. You crazy? Who is Naruto's first villain of Shippuden? Is it the 30% water clone of Itachi? Is that his first villain? I think no, it might be Kakuzu. No. Naruto's first villain, where he actually gets a one-on-one fight, technically, is Pain. And by that point, he's already halfway through the I don't want to say halfway through like the entire series, but all we have left after that is the 5 Kage Summit and then the war. So no, it would be halfway. So Ichigo versus Pain. And if we're going to do that, we'd have to give Ichigo his Bankai at that point. Mind you, because Naruto is already halfway through a series fighting Pain. So we'd have to give Ichigo end of Soul Society or right when he's fighting Byakuya to make it fair. In which case, he's pretty much speed blitzes all of the fucking Pains and kills them. So not really a challenge there. And then who's Naruto's next big fight after Pain? Who's his next big fight? He doesn't have one. He just helps out in the war. Naruto doesn't have any fights. All of Naruto's fights are collaboration fights. But this is something I've mentioned before. Yeah, Naruto's only single fights are Sasuke, Kiba. No, yeah, Sasuke and Kiba. Those are his only one-on-one fights. Sasuke and Kiba. Think about that. That's crazy. That would just mean he that many times stronger. Kuribo thinking that Kamu is like death dealing. Like shit. Besides, no one in both One Piece or Naruto counters Soifon. Yeah, no, that's true. See, but thankfully, Soifon doesn't fight anyone in that arc. Thankfully. Zoro fights Renji. Luffy needs Ikkaku for an introduction. See, if Zoro fights Renji at that point, he's going to lose, in my opinion. If Luffy fights Ikkaku, he's going to win. It might be like high diff, but he's going to beat Ikkaku clearly. Even though it's high diff, he might beat him clearly. Yeah, those they got to be opposite. They got like Luffy needs to fight the stronger people, and so on and so forth. You can't argue hacks for Kamui while granting Kakashi soul damage. If his Kamui is granted soul damage, soul interaction, then it should as follow the logic of soul battles established in Bleach. That's an interesting theory. That is an interesting theory. If you're going to grant Kakashi soul damage, then his techniques, at the very least, should follow how the rules of soul damage and interaction is established. I'm not mad at it. Personally, I don't know if I'd go that far. I don't know if I'd go that far with it, but I'm not mad at it. I was about to say, janky ass thing ain't charging my laptop. Alright, Bleach is mainly by statement. That's why it gets a pass. Wait, what? Bleach is mainly by statement. That's why it get a pass. What you mean it's mainly by statement? What do you mean by that? Well, not really when there are so many statements from reliable characters and even from the author with the Hogyoku arguments, which there's feats to back it up. It would be like saying Multipliers aren't relevant because it's just the same. Well, no. Here's the thing. There are statements. Hold up. First, oh my god. That heat is fucking me up. We have to contextualize that first. There are statements that add context to powers and abilities, right? And then there are statements without any feats or scaling to suggest that they are true. And then there are also name fallacy things, which would go under a whole different thing, right? So, Bankai being a 5 to 10 times multiplier is something that's bore out in the actual feats of the series. We see when Ichigo fights Renji, and Renji releases Zabimaru, Ichigo cannot physically hold him back, despite Ichigo being able to stop Jidamo's axe swing from the side and not moving an inch. It's bore out in the feats that he is 5 times, or that he's stronger with the release of his thing. You can say the same thing for Ichigo after he gets his Bankai, right? He cannot dodge Senbon Sakura. He goes Bankai, and now he is faster than the Senbon Sakura, to where Byakuya now has to use his hands and make himself twice as faster. So Ichigo is slower. He goes Bankai, gets faster. Senbon Sakura gets a 2 times increase, making it faster or relative to Ichigo. So Bankai is bore out in the feats. When Jirobo says, I'm 10 times stronger, and he lifts Choji's fat ass up, that's bore out in the feats. When Sakan says, we all have 10 times more chakra after entering stage 2, that's like a no-brainer. We're not going to argue that. That's bore out in the feats. We don't need to argue that. A statement alluding to planetary. A statement, see, here's the thing. Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. I will never use the statement as itself as the evidence for the thing in question. I'll never do that. I can't. It doesn't make logical sense to me. As a power skill, it doesn't make sense to me. You cannot tell me that the Sogyoku has a strength of 1 million Zanpakutos and can destroy the world or Soul Society, and that be the only evidence for it, the fact that it was stated. I can't do that. In good faith, I cannot do that. I will not do that. It would only make sense if the Sogyoku had a feat of doing it, or I don't even like doing this, I'd even take a fucking flashback of when it could have did it. I'd even take a flashback. But it has to be real. It can't be myth, it can't be legend, it can't be speculation. It has to be real. That's why we're not using Kakashi cutting lightning in this upcoming fight. Too much speculation. It's just a statement. No feats, no scaling. So yeah, no. I, in good faith, cannot just take statements as are. Oh, that's right. You said it would be like saying multipliers aren't relevant. Yeah, no. Completely different things. Completely different things. Multipliers are grounded in feats and scaling. The Sogyoku, or whatever you're going to use to get the planetary, I don't think it's grounded in feats or scaling. It's grounded in lore and statements. But even the lore is questionable because characters can be wrong. Characters exaggerate. Characters lie. Characters embellish. But that's why we use things that we can tangibly prove. That's why we use things that we can that's why we use things that are tangible, that prove if they are right or wrong. Brain fart. Excuse me. And let me do this. And that. All right, where we at? Oh, I missed the whole thing. I don't know why my chat froze, bro. I didn't even see Michael enter the chat. Hold up. Gang, tomorrow it is. Hey, bet, yeah, we can do tomorrow. I'll hit you on Discord for the time, bro. I'll hit you on Discord for the time. It'll most likely be. Oh wait, no, I'm driving home tomorrow. All right, let me see. If I'm driving home tomorrow. All right. Let me see. If we get off at 5, 6, 7. Okay, hey, Ig. I don't want it to be too late. You know, I'll text you, bro. I'll text you. If not this week, definitely next week, because I'm out of Virginia. So that shitty Wi-Fi is out of here. We're done. So I can scream confidently now. So if not this week, because I'll be very busy, because I'll be going to my cousin's wedding this week, and I'll be driving home tomorrow. And then after that, me and my fiance are going to the beach, and I can't work. You know. So if not this week, definitely next week. But I'll let you know. We should be good for tomorrow. It just depends on when we finish up this job and if I can get home fast enough. So we'll see. Kenpachi has never no-sold anything like Kamui. I don't know why we're still on this Kamui thing like Kakashi's going to successfully pull it off in the first place. No, it's Kakuzu. Pain is the main one. Bro, Kenpachi doesn't need to counter Kamui like that. Kakashi has no feats against stabbings. Which is crazy when you think about it. Naruto doesn't have many solo fights. Even his fight with Pain wasn't really him solo. Exactly, Kai. Like, you go down Naruto's whole roster of battles, they're all collaborations. 30% Itachi clone, collaboration. Kakuzu, collaboration. Pain, collaboration. Obito, collaboration. The third Raikage, big collaboration. Madara, big collaboration. Kaguya, big collaboration. I already said Obito. Raikage, collaboration. B was helping. Boy really doesn't have any solo fights. Wait, I just realized Zoro will run around and he will fight Tosen. Nah, he's not going to fight Tosen. I'll take care of it. Don't worry. He's not going to fight Tosen, though. Minority Hunter, after all. A versus Naruto was a one-on-one. How was A versus Naruto a one-on-one when B was right there trying to help him? So Kenpachi can't stop Kamui. I mean, I just say Kenpachi stands there and Kakashi activates this blinding attack that costs a lot of chakra right away. Rather than how he normally fights. Yo, hey, what's good, Michael? How you doing, bro? Soul Reapers in Bleach aren't intangible and aren't immune to physical damage. Here's the thing about that physical damage thing. I've looked into it. There's not a lot of evidence to suggest that anything not of a physical nature would hurt them. And it's very tricky. Like, in certain instances, they can take impact damage. But like when Chad was fighting that one hollow with the pole, it wasn't hurt at all. We can pull it up. Let's pull it up. It's Kaizen, Bleach 140, Bleach 161. Let's pull it up. Now, I don't know the chapter off the top of my head, but I should be able to find it once I start poking my head around. So that's when he already meets Uryu. So it's a little before this. Chad gets his powers, I think around like maybe 30. What in the hell is this? What is this? Did I delete my thing? Oh, you son of a bitch. Okay, good. He's fighting that hollow. Good, Chad's there. So is it after Uryu then? Let's see. Because that's Don Kanoshi. Oh, yeah, it's that bird. That's right, it's the bird thing. Okay, so we might be looking at in the 40s then. We might be looking at like 42. Yes, somewhere close to this. Mind you guys. Oh, never mind. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay. We'll talk about it one day. Does Urahime get her powers first, or does Chad, though? That's the question. Let's check 44. I'm getting a call from Shinigami. Hold up. Yo, bro. Wait, hold up. Give me 1 second. Let me put on speaker real quick. All right, go.
Real quickly, the chapter you're looking for is around 9 to 12.
9 to 12? Damn, it's that early? That's crazy.
You're pretty far away. I'm going to disconnect.
Got you. You good. Thank you for that, bro. Oh, wow. You're right. I found it, bro. I got you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. That was Shinigami live in the flesh. Shout out to Shinigami. I was way off. I think I was looking for when Chad first gets his arm, but that's not when he hits the hollow over the head with the pole. All right. Anyways, let's go back so we can get full context of what's going on here. Because I've always heard this, they can be hurt by physical things. But I remember when I read it, I was like, didn't really seem hurt to me. But hey, he seemed more surprised he got hit than that he was hurt. But before that, let me just check the chat anyway. All right. Where do you scale Luffy, Ab-Stract? Good question, Michael. So here's the thing. We're going to have to do a number of things to accurately scale Luffy before... And mind you, I don't know when... I still don't know when I want Luffy to fight Soul Society. I don't know if I want it to be Alabasta Luffy. I don't know if I want it to be Skypiea Luffy or Enies Lobby Luffy. So it's kind of hard to pin down. But I know this for a fact after watching this series again. Not gonna lie, as good as Luffy is, as strong as he is, I could for the life of me, I could not find any decent feats prior to Skypiea, I think. Prior to Skypiea, Michael, I could not find any like really solid Luffy feats. There's a bit of scaling, sure, but as far as feats and force and what's the word that Vector always uses? God damn it. Not force. He uses a word. Pressure. I couldn't find too much for Luffy. I couldn't find too much. Zoro's height is cutting steel, so Mr. One. Mr. One can casually cleave through buildings, but this is not special in Bleach. So it's kind of hard. I'd probably have him around like large building level to breaking into small town level. Or small city or city block level. Or yeah. Large building level breaking into city block level. That's probably where I would have him generally. That's why I don't use verse equalization. You end up being biased towards one side and taking away clear advantages from the other side in the name of fairness. Right. Scaling. What do you mean by physical damage? They are more complex than mere intangible beings. That's true. Because it specifically stated weapons that don't have spiritual energy or cut souls won't work on the Shinigami. See, in Shinigami, people often forget that. Like we're gonna have to visit this too. The reason that Ichigo, when he was fighting Kisuke, the reason Ichigo was so comfortable was because he thought Kisuke didn't have a Zanpakuto. He didn't think he could be hurt by anything that wasn't of soul origin. But he's like, oh shit, that's a Zanpakuto. He can hurt me. And Kisuke's like, you didn't think there was a Zanpakuto. How naive. So let's get into this real quick. Chad's running from Rukia. Damn it, I can't catch up to him. If I didn't have this Gigai, this amount of speed would be nothing. Again, showing that spirit energy. Never mind. Y'all get it by now, right? I hope I don't have to. Y'all get it by now, right? Anyway, to begin with, the physical capabilities of this Gigai is equal to a normal person, so that's bad. Those lunatics at the development department, they do nothing but pay attention to the unnecessary points. No, I'm running out of breath. Nice smell. So the hollow catches her. Cool, cool, cool. We get it. Cool, cool, cool. Ichigo's running cool. Rukia gets hit. Oh, we're going to see something else too, guys. Watch this. Look at this. So she needs the hollow. Dominator, mask of flesh and blood. All living beings fluctuating or fluttering. That which has the name human. Truth and temperance. Slightly impt your claws into the walls of innocent dreams. Destruction art. Hado 33. Sokatsui. So she shoots the hollow point blank. No damage is on the hollow. Shinigami, this question... No, I'm sorry. Kuribo. This question is for you, Kuribo. Why did the hollow not take any damage from Rukia's Kido? That question is for you, Shinigami. Why did the hollow not take any damage from Rukia's Kido? No damage whatsoever. No way. Not even a scratch. I recognize that spell just now. It's Shinigami magic, am I right? But yours is weak. I didn't feel a thing. Damn it. So I haven't recovered enough to use that level of demon art. So you were a Shinigami. That explains why your scent's so tasty. Shinigami, that brings back good memories. You know, I've eaten 2 Shinigami who came to send that brat to the afterlife. They've tasted the best. Cool. Let's go back though. So Ruki is about to get grabbed up. Chad comes in, throws a punch. Throws a punch. Says, did I hit him? Hit him? What? He hit the hollow? This guy can actually see hollows? Mind you, again, no damage on the hollow. Actually, is that a scruff mark? That actually might be a scruff mark from Chad's punch, actually. That might be a scruff mark from Chad's punch. But that's Chad. Let's go to this poll thing. Okay, so we go to the poll. What the hell? So, which direction? It is getting... Give me a second. It's getting hot now. That got hot. Fast as a motherfucker. Heat. 68. Alright. I don't know why it got hot so fast, but it is what it is. It is what it is. So he slams it down. He slams it down. Maybe it's the way it's drawn, because I don't remember seeing any damage on it. I don't see any damage on it. Like, so give up. A guy is coming soon to get rid of you. Stay still until then. What's so funny? He hit nothing. I'm wondering if you didn't think about it. Why is it that up until now I was able to defeat and devour 2 Shinigami? Yeah, he looks fine. Like, he looks fine. Look at his face. He looks fine. See, now I'm questioning the scruff marks, because he didn't even have those on his body, bro. He doesn't even have those on his body. But yeah. So there's that aspect of it. And then what was Ichigo versus Kisuke? 117, I think. 108, maybe. Oh no, I'm way ahead. Way ahead. Maybe like 84. Okay, still ahead. Not 84. Maybe like 60 or something. Cool. Cool. So we go to Kisuke and Ichigo. I could probably go ahead like 2 chapters, maybe 3. 1, 2, 3, 64. right, let me make sure. Okay, yeah. So Ichigo and Kisuke are playing cat and mouse. Not bad for only having that little sword. Oh, a compliment. Oh, joy. But don't expect me to take it easy on you. Bring it on. Cat and mouse. Cool, cool, cool. Wait. Aren't Zanpakuto the only things that can injure Soul Reapers and Hollows? That sword came out of his cane. It can't be a Zanpakuto. Then I should be fine, even if I'm cut by it. This is telling us that on a surface level, Ichigo understands that mainly only spiritual things can hurt spiritual bodies. Hence why, even if he's cut by it, he should be fine. Kisuke then says, you let your guard down. You think this can't be a Zanpakuto because I'm not a Soul Reaper. So you think it won't hurt you. Oh, so you think it won't hurt you to be cut by it, eh? How incredibly naive. Wake up. So Kisuke reaffirms what Ichigo is thinking, and he pretty much agrees with him. You think this can't be a Zanpakuto because I'm not a Soul Reaper, so you think it won't hurt you to be cut by it. Why would Kisuke say that? Why would Kisuke double down on Ichigo's thoughts and say, so you think it won't hurt you to be cut by it, eh? This is shit I don't bring up because, like, it gets to be too OP at that point. I'm not going to, like, have Soul Reapers be invincible to anything non-spirit. I'm not going to do that. But, like, if we want to talk about it, we can. I'm just saying it exists. It's there. All right. Where we at? He said the ads always get me. Let me scroll up. All right. I'm way far down, guys. Give me a second. Last I read was radio scale, whatchamacallit. Okay. There we go. And they are immune to physical damage. There are feats to support Planetary Soul Society, plus the supporting evidence, i.e. the statements. Okay, so, what are the feats that support Planetary Soul Society in the Soul Society arc? The Black Dragon, based on my calc, Dressrosa Luffy with... Yeah, so I'm not talking... So, the Luffy that would be fighting in the Soul Society would be very early, like probably East Blue Luffy, along with very early Shippuden Naruto. Or somewhere around there that would make it comparable for them to fight the Soul Society people. Ab-Stract has a different scaling system. It's not even my scaling system per se, Rev. I will say I've probably renditioned Zalius's scaling slightly to be more to work more within my personal parameters. And I think the only thing that I've changed is for him, because what he does, or what he did when scaling Naruto, was he took the Naruto feats and put them in a linear fashion to where they were progressively getting stronger and scaling above other things. The only problem I had with that is that he would also attribute certain things, like, for example, Madara taking Night Guy. He has that at country level, or he has that at country level or continental. I think it's country. He has that at country level, based on Pain's Chibaku Tensei, the AP of that. And I'm not quite sure of how he derived the AP from Chibaku Tensei, being that it's gravity. Like, I don't know if he's calculating the black sphere and how much mass that's pulling in, or if it's the mass of the overall structure. I don't know how he got the AP for that. But generally, I'd probably disagree with that one until I heard like a more fleshed out explanation of it. But he took that as like a, anchor feat, what I like to call. He took that as an anchor feat. And then he based other things off of like Night Guy, which has a smaller volume. And then he attributes the total joules to an attack that has a less AoE, and he gives that the AP. I hope that made perfect sense. I hope that made sense. If you don't get it, watch some of his videos and you'll get what I'm talking about. He took Night Guy's attack that Madara survived and said it must at least scale above this in AP. So he like kind of gave it the total joules, if that makes sense. Now my thing is this. I do not believe it takes country level attacks to start hurting Jubidara. I don't believe that. Evidence would suggest that him and Obito were still very relative. Obito got hurt by Naruto with a base Rasengan. So there are things that I like there's things that I very little disagree with. But it's still his scaling method for the most part. Like I said, I just kind of added a very slight touch to it. I see that. I'm with you, though. As long as he's consistent across the board, then it's fine. Same for you. Facts. Laugh my ass off. Say less. Hopefully by then, part 2 of Key Debunk is out. Others like Key use one system for Naruto and another system for other series. How many statements till it's accessible in your style scaling? It's not a. So here's the thing. If we're not going to have direct evidence for a statement, I'll at least consider a corroboration, something that can at least corroborate the statement. For example, great example. Under Aizen's orders, 2 things were forbidden under the canopy of Lost Noches. That is the release of Espada 4 and higher and the use of Gran Recero. Both things are so destructive they prove to destroy Lost Noches themselves if released, right? What Ulquiorra does to corroborate that statement is he flies above the canopy to fight Ichigo. That's something to where I could be like, okay, he didn't actually destroy Lost Noches, but he literally tells us the reason why he can't do something, and then to corroborate him being able to do it necessarily, he does something that, corroborates what he's saying. If I'm going to destroy Lost Noches by transforming, I'm going to get outside of Lost Noches. That corroborates the statement. It's better than just the statement itself. At the very least, it's better than just the statement itself. But then we also, Grimmjow released his Gran Recero below the canopy. It was blocked. So that's kind of like, okay, cool, fair. But it did distort the atmosphere. And Hollybell and everyone else is like, yo, what the fuck are you doing releasing that here, bro? What are you doing? And then we have Yami releasing multiple times, basically, with his Ira Zanpakuto, his Rage Zanpakuto. He released multiple times. No serious damage was done. But you could also attribute that to Yami not like having... you can attribute that to him having a controlled release. But then that kind of gets weird because Yami's the worst at like spirit energy and sensing people and determining power levels. So it gets kind of weird. It gets kind of hazy. Now, I'm not saying the Espada can't destroy Lost Noches. I'm not saying that. At the very least, we know Ulquiorra can with Lanza del Relámpago. Because we already know his Cero Oscuras could vaporize the top of it, which it did. We know his Lanza del Relámpago. His Lanza del Relámpago is stronger than his Cero Oscuras. And we know it's stronger than his Cero Oscuras because he's more surprised at... Well, number one, he intimates fear or a discomfort of it being discharged next to him, meaning it could potentially even injure him. And then he's more surprised that Ichigo stopped it with his bare hands than him neutralizing his Cero Oscuras. So we know his Seto Oscuras is his strongest attacking technique. We know its attack radius can definitely blow up all of Las Noches. Do I think all of Las Noches would be destroyed? No. I think a good majority of it would be destroyed, with most of the epicenter being vaporized completely, and then structural failure from the resounding shockwaves and after explosions and stuff like that. So yeah. How many statements until? Yeah, what was that question again? You said. Where was it? Yeah. So yeah, how many statements till it's acceptable? Yeah. Like it's not just about the statements. It's what do we have to corroborate the statements, and feats and scaling. It'll always be feats and scaling. Repeated statements are fine because they reinforce things, but you'll still need feats and scaling to come to a truth value. At the end of the day, that's what we want. At the end of the day, we want to be able to declare what is true. At the very least, what do we know? What can we determine is true? We don't want to work in speculation. We don't want to work on ifs, ands, or buts. As much as possible, within reason. You know what I mean? Like, this is scaling. We're not going to be 100% accurate, but we want to get as close to the truth as possible without, like, any guesswork. If we can help it. Don't get me wrong. Guesswork is going to have to be applied sometimes. It just is what it is. Because we don't, like, we're doing our best to figure out how fiction or how our reality can be mapped onto fiction. These people are doing things we couldn't even fucking dream of. So we're doing our best, right? Yeah. Hey, what's good, Sylvie? How you doing? In Naruto, they will just jump you. That's true. In Naruto, they will just jump you, which is why I'm considering having the whole squad of Naruto stay together for this invasion. It would make total sense. It's because of the corroborative... Hey, yo, Rev is right here with me, bro. It's because of the corroborative nature of Yuji's fights. Like Naruto. That I don't have end of series Yuji in my top 10, despite the hype. I can see that. Yuji always be jumping. For me, statements are invalid till you can prove it's contradictory. Wait, for me, statements are invalid till you can prove it's contradictory. Such as all of the Naruto light speed statements to the point it contradicts itself, or karma being planetary. Karma being planetary? Do you mean Kurama? Did you mean Kurama being planetary? I don't like it when I see one smart at number 1. That's hilarious. The Sokyoku is just some bullshit. But there are 2 statements for planetary scaling. One is sealing their power, and another one is Shinji telling 20% Ichigo to control himself. So, Ichigo's power being felt or resounding throughout the world. Here's the thing. I made a joke about that. I joked because people were saying that the Ten Tails became its own planet, therefore it's planetary. I had made a response video to that, jokingly saying that, okay, so since we're taking planet at face value, and since it's mentioned it must be planetary, Ichigo's Reiatsu resounded throughout the whole planet. Is he now planetary? I did that as a joke because I don't believe in things like that. But if we're going to do it, I'm all game for it. But I don't generally believe in things like that. Your energy being felt a far presence or a far distance wouldn't necessitate planetary AP. It just wouldn't. It would necessitate your power has a far reach, a long range, or people are that good at sensing your power. This would not necessitate AP or durability or anything like, or speed. It would just, be an indicator of how far your power reaches. All right? I wouldn't do that. Even with even with Senjumaru shaking the universe, mind you, it's very impressive. It's very fucking impressive. I'm not going to lie. It's impressive. She shook all 3 realms simultaneously. The distance it would have had to travel is astronomical to do that. It's impressive. It's just hard. It's hard to quantify. Like, okay, cool. She did that. She shook it. That is her power consistently reverberating throughout the world, though. Mind you, when she releases and she's shaking everything, no one's dying from the shakes. Right? No one is getting hurt. No one's getting hurt by her releasing her Bankai and shaking the 3 realms. No one's getting hurt by this. Which tells us that the energy she's giving off, though vast, is still weaker than her actual strikes. It's still weaker than her actual attacks. So people are like, oh, Senjumaru's universal. She shook the galaxy. She shook the universe. I don't know about that. If she's universal, you also have to be saying everyone that survived the coming quake of her shake would have to be universal at that point too. I mean, they didn't die. We would at least expect the humans to die from her releasing of Bankai, right? If her releasing is universal, why didn't the humans die from it? Just like a tidal wave hitting a person, you're only getting fractions and fractions of that energy hitting you at different intervals. So it's not going to kill you. If she is universal, it's because she scales to fucking Uryu, who can fight Ichigo, who can kill Yuha. There's your scaling chain. But like, don't say her releasing her Bankai is universal. I don't like it. I don't like it. Oh, Naruto had so much chakra that he calls the tear in Kaguya's universe. Oh, fucking okay. Well, what next? Is that impressive for some reason? I mean, he calls the tear in her universe that the Otsuki, the aliens wanted him now. Okay. What's that mean for his AP? Well, I mean, he's planetary because they noticed it from the planet they were on and they saw the planet tear. Okay. Can you give me a planetary feat? Like it's so... I don't like it. I do not like it. Not a fan. Sokyoku is not bullshit considering... Sokyoku is not bullshit considering the many reactions that imply how impressive of a feat it was for Ryoka boy to block that fiery bird. So, here's the thing. Rev, how many people have actually tried to block the Sokyoku? Or is the Sokyoku a thing of legend? A thing that is said to have 1 million Zanpakutos. A thing that is said to be this, that, and the third. Do you believe Yamamoto could not stop the Sokyoku? Do you believe Yuha Baha could not stop the Sokyoku? Do you believe Sosuke Aizen could not stop the Sokyoku? Do you believe Kenpachi could not stop the Sokyoku? I see. I don't know. I 9 and 10 are the ones. I agree with that, Zoro. Chad was using Rayatsu anyway. What's the point of even pointing to this as a gotcha moment? See, yeah, I mean, the point of that gotcha moment was for Kuribo to say, oh, they take physical damage from physical things. And it's like, well, no, we didn't see anything like that. We saw him punch the hollow, but Chad is already a fucking fullbringer to begin with. That's number one. And then we saw the pole do no damage. We literally saw the pole do no damage. I certainly didn't see any damage. The chapter is 9 through 10, 9 through 11. Go look it up yourselves. That pole did no damage. Oh, good feats for Luffy pre-Skypiea. I can recall being impressive for him withstanding a buggy ball, upscaling a fodder pirate, fragmenting / cratering a cliff, him kicking up lots of water in Barateya. So yeah, the buggy ball. The buggy ball is a thing of much discourse. Number one, isn't the buggy ball like a cannon, like a circular cannon? And isn't Luffy rubber? It did blood. I'll go watch it again / read it, and I'm probably going to read it in preparation for this anyway. But from my understanding, the buggy ball is it can be an explosive or it can be a cannon. The panel that's coming in my mind is the one Steinixers always use, where it's ripping through like buildings and stuff. So that would probably have Luffy at around small building level to large building level for the buggy bomb. Given that the buggy ball is so small, but it's causing that much destruction, fragmentation of many things, many buildings. You sure this is for me and not Karibo? I think so. I don't know. I might be too far down to know what you're talking about right now. Bro, they eating my gun. What? So yeah, however you calc the gold rifle in Sasuke is definitely his best feat. Is the gold rifle, Michael, the one where he uses the metal on his hand? Because if that's his best feat, I might have to go to in Eni's lobby. If that's his best feat, I'll probably have to go to Eni's lobby. You could upscale him from Pell surviving the country level nuke as a high ball. Oh yeah. See, I don't like that one either because part of me feels like Oda was being an emotional merchant with that. Like during One Piece, Oda made it seem like at least several people were going to die. Pell, the old man from Skypiea, the old guy that Nolan's ancestor. He made it seem like several people that we cared about were going to die, and he bought them all back. Igaram that blew up from a ship, he bought them all back. Furthermore, we don't understand how Pell survived. We don't understand how he escaped. Right? So it's kind of hazy. I wouldn't do that though, because we didn't get to see anything. Otherwise, I would like to use that, but no. Oda's just very like, no, bro, I'm not doing that. Both Naruto and Luffy do not get past Soul Society, as Urahara's training should be around that multi-city block level. I'm at last by the crash. Gotcha. Ruki was being weakened at the time. Well, we're still back there. God damn, I'm so far back. So, okay, you're not wrong that Rukia was being weakened, right? But the answer to why her attack did no damage was because she has far less spiritual pressure, spirit energy than that hollow. That's the answer. She's like, never mind, it's okay. That was the answer, though. How does the nuke get to country level when it only has a blast diameter 5 meters? Damn. Ab-Stract can't take you anywhere because you need a thermostat on you. I know, bro. I know, bro. It's weird. Does it? I thought it was meant to nuke Alabasta. However, it's spelt. Let's say city level, then LOL. Good highball. I could do city level. Like, I don't know if I would use Pell still, but I could do city level. I explained why the pole thing doesn't refute anything. The pole thing. Oh, for Karibo. Got you. Croc specified the blast radius. I don't know if it was meant to destroy the entire city or just the massive courtyard in front of the place. It has always been the case that beings with Reiatsu can interact with souls physically. Shadow was beginning to awaken at this point in the story and was subconsciously using Reiatsu. Could be a good durability feat for early One Piece. Only problem is I don't know how to calculate with triple AP scaling, and I don't trust VSB's method of finding it. Yeah, and like what makes it worse is it was taken up to the sky, so there's no visible damage, which means the AP can only be assumed. Not saying it's impossible, but a lot more guesswork would have to go into it. We'd have to get the size of the blast, assume everything was vaporization, and then, assume, I guess that would be fair. Assume it's vaporization of rock, and then go from there. You're right. I was just trying to present the highest highball for Luffy, but yeah, the buggy ball scaling is probably the best. I'll explain on Discord real quick. I got you, bro. Got you. Pretty sure Zalius only got Jubidar to large island AP. Also pretty sure he calced Jubidar to large island AP. No. You're right. It wasn't country level. I was thinking of Naruto and Sasuke's final clash. You're right. I think it was large island AP. I think you're right. Yeah. Also pretty sure he calced Chibaku Tensei based on the volume of the rock that it fragmented from the environment. See, so he got it from the rock that was fragmented from the Chibaku Tensei. But that'd be like saying if Jirobo lifted a large piece of rock out the earth, would that now be his AP because he was able to lift it? All the rock is doing is pulling it. So, like, what's the real difference there? Gravity versus your hand, but they're both forces being enacted on the rock to displace it. You know what I mean? Ab-Stract, would you agree that the Kurama that Minato and Kushina sealed half in Naruto was as strong as the Kurama by the end of the series? Would I agree that the Kurama that Minato and Kushina sealed half in Naruto? That's an interesting question. Just thinking about that question on its face, I would have to say no, because it's only half of its power, right? That's what I would initially be thinking. If it's only half of its power, how then... Yeah, if it's only half of its power, how then could it be as strong as the full Kurama that Naruto got both chakra from? He had his chakra or his half and then Minato's half. I'd say it's weaker than that. It only says Zanpakuto can hurt them. Ichigo didn't mention Kido, Seto, or Hollow's general attacks. So, Karibo, don't be dense. If we take that statement straightforward like that, Quincy and non-Arankar Hollows shouldn't hurt them. Karibo, please don't be dense. We understand that Hollows are spiritual beings. We understand that Quincy are spiritual beings. What Ichigo was talking about was spiritual things not being able to hurt spiritual, or non-spiritual things not being able to hurt spiritual beings. That's all he was talking about, bro. Please don't do this. Yes, you're being pedantic. There's something known as subtext, Skribo. You don't expect Ichigo to think about all kinds of attacks that would work on him while in the midst of battling Kisuke. Exactly. The presumption is that Kisuke is a regular person with a regular sword. That's the presumption. So he's like, oh shit, he's just a regular guy with a regular sword. It won't hurt me. This is not to say Hollows can't hurt me. He's been hurt by Hollows before. How would that even make sense, Karibo? This is not to say Uryu's arrows can't hurt me. He's literally seen Uryu's arrows hurt Hollows. How would that work, Karibo? Come on, bro. Damn it, I missed my thing. Where are we at? Okay, yeah. Yeah, there's a bit of a lag. Ab is rubber banding via ultimate Wi-Fi. That's crazy. The literal text says he can be cut by the... The literal text says he can be cut, but he believes he will be fine. Yes, oh my God. He's saying even if it makes contact with him, he will be fine. That's what he's saying. Because we already know physical things can make contact with him. He's saying even if his sword were to cut me, make contact, since it's not a Zanpakuto, I should be fine. Because he's using a sword, a regular sword, in his eyes. But it's a Zanpakuto, so he won't be fine. And then Kisuke even doubles down and says, you thought it wasn't a Zanpakuto, so you let your guard down. Why would Kisuke say that? If he wasn't backing Ichigo's claim of nothing that's not spiritual being able to hurt them. The color his room gets, the worse his internet lag. Ab-Stract law. That's crazy. Am I really slowing down like that? That's crazy. Alright, where am I? Specifically for statements also really helps for scaling. I can't use the Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world in good faith because it doesn't specify how many attacks are needed. Thank you, Michael. Exactly. Exactly. And then the other thing with the Whitebeard thing is Whitebeard would really only be able to destroy the world via chain reaction. There's no way he's putting all of that energy into a single attack, hitting the planet, and then the planet explodes. There's no way that's happening. I can guarantee that's not what it would be. It would be him using the Quake fruit, more than likely over like maybe 2 to 5 minute period at a bare minimum to destabilize the entire world. But then it's like, okay, how much of that energy that you're using can you put into your Quake attacks? We would want to go by the feats for that. not presume that even if he could destroy the world, that he has that power in his attacks with every swing. That's not what we would do. That's not what we would do for anybody. Or the extent of destruction. Right. Or the time frame. See, Michael gets it. Shutara outright states that she's holding herself back in order to not destroy everything. What we saw was just the passive reverberations of her Reiatsu. That's a good point, too. Goku went Super Saiyan 3 and shook the planet, and nobody died, but we know he could destroy it. Same with Goku and Beerus clashing fists with the threat to destroy the universe if it kept going, but no one died. Good point, too. And we understand that Goku and Beerus actually punching each other was more powerful than the actual energy reverberating throughout the world. So yeah, good points. Good points all around. Prior, right. Whitebeard has the power to destroy the world. The urgency in Sengoku's voice suggests it would be immediate destruction. Maybe not seconds, but definitely minutes. I think that's fair. It's just factors. Your Ab-Stract, before I eventually go, when you read this, which of my characters are you looking forward to? The guy with the runes. He looks cool as shit. I want to see what he's about. You know what I'm talking about. The guy with the guy that looks like he has the Nordic runes on his clothes. He's fire. To be fair, it's literally stated that everything has a soul, so he could hit a hollow but not do damage. Ooh. But here's to be accurate to be fair. To be accurate, everything may have a soul, but not everything has Reiatsu, which is what you would need. Or at least a certain threshold of Reiruku. That's what you would need. a certain threshold of Reiruku, or enough Reiruku to exude a Reiatsu or emit a Reiatsu. Just like in Memories of Nobody, Soul Society had a weapon that could flat out destroy the Valley of Screams that was going to collide entirely. Yes, the Keto Cannon, which Naruto stole the Chakra Cannon from. Yep, it's the one where he has a giant gold ball on his arm. Okay, yeah. Okay. So how much force would he be hitting with without the gold ball? Because that joint is huge, and it's gold. Ab-Stract, I get you, but that's more of a reach than just accepting that the likes of Yamamoto, Shunsui, and Ukitake would at least have an idea about the strength of Sokyoku. Yamamoto, more than all of them, because he's been around the longest, Shunsui and Ukitake could very well just have been hearing stories of this Sokyoku and never have even attempted to do anything or gauge its power or whatever. But I get what you're saying. Ichigo coming back doesn't have to inform his durability. Robin faked his death the whole time. Pale's feet should count. From what I recall, he was close to the epicenter. Okay, we'll review Pels. Ill versus the world. That's a tough ass name. What's up, bro? How you doing? Ill versus the world. Oh, Illy versus the world. I like that. He's so far back. I know I'm so far back, guys. Give me a second. It's like arguing that why didn't Aizen, Gin, and Tosen try to escape Ryujin Jinjaku Shikai? Obviously, they can sense the amount of Reiatsu in the flames and gauge its power. So to be impressed by Ichigo blocking Sokyoku implies it's a great feat. Damn. That's a good point, Rev. That's a good point. Okay. If Jirobo is having to tear the rock from the earth itself, I could see that informing AP. If it was already a separate rock from the ground, then I would only consider that a lifting feat. Okay. Because I think Jirobo has an attack called Spear of Graves, in which he uses to throw a rock at, like, Shikamaru's squad. And I think he gets that rock from the ground, if I'm not mistaken. However... Oh, wait. Where the fuck is my other... Where's my other... I'm missing a tab. I am missing a tab. Fuck. That sucks. All right. How do I do this? Okay, let's see if that did it. Hey, there we go. Cool. Now let's delete the other ones. We can delete you. And you. Nice, nice, nice. Sorry about that, guys. I was looking for this tab right over here, because this is where I keep my Naruto stuff. So let's go to a Jirobo real quick. Sasuke versus Gaara. Cool, cool, cool. Kakashi versus Itachi. Cool, cool, cool. Naruto versus Sasuke. Cool, cool, cool. Where were we at? Hidden Leafs, Shinobi. Sound versus Leaf. That's where Sasuke leaves. Plan, game over. I think it might be strategy. Okay, cool. So a little further back, Shoji versus Jirobo. I think it's friends, because him and Shikamaru are butt buddies at the time. Cool. So a little further back. 1, 2, 3, 4. All right, a little further back again. Spear of Graves is what we need. Sound versus Leaf, probably. Okay, cool, cool, cool. They're leaving the village. They run into the Jonin. The Jonin get their asses clapped. Genma and Raido are trash. They get the shit beat out of them. All right, they blow him up. Cool, cool, cool. Oh, does he not do Spear of Graves? He doesn't throw the big ass rock at them? He just goes right into Earth Dome Terror Prison? Oh, wow. Okay. Okay, well, we're going to keep going. Maybe he does do it. I could have sworn Jirobo had a feat where he takes a huge chunk of the earth, pulls it out the ground, and then he like just throws it at them. But maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that was only in the video game. Okay. It's too dangerous to fight him here. Although it's 5 against 1, he's not an opponent we can defeat quickly with our chakra depleted. If we waste too much time, Sasuke will cross the territorial border. If that happens, we cannot pursue him any further. Alright, what the heck should we do? Annoying flies, you are all merely my prey, though you wouldn't even be a small snack for me. Everyone watch out, this is going to be trouble. Oh, shit. Okay, so this is what it was. Yeah, okay, so he does do it here. All right. Hold up. So, is it a jutsu, though? It is a hand sign. It is a jutsu. Ugh, okay. So I don't know though. You tell me, Michael. It looks like it is jutsu based, but that wouldn't account for the strength. Neji notes that he disappeared, sniff sniff, behind us, and he comes out of the ground pretty much with this humongous ass boulder. This is insane, actually. Impossible. Naruto says this is impossible. Mind you, these are casual feats in Naruto. I'm sorry, in One Piece and Bleach. Casual, very casual. So he throws it. Choji goes human boulder and busts through some rock. But anyways, yeah. Skip with the chat. So yeah, you said if Jirobo having to tear the rock from the earth itself, I could see that in forming AP. If it was already a separate rock from the ground, then I would only consider that a lifting feat. Ab-Stract, let me ask again. Is the Kurama that went on a rampage when Naruto was born equal to the Kurama we see by the end of the series and into Boruto? Not the half, the full thing. Oh, like that. It can't be, only because Shinchuriki make Biju stronger. So while he's with Naruto, no, he's stronger. If you're just talking about Kurama, absent a host, he should be the same strength. He should be the same power, strength. Relying on Ichigo's limited knowledge in this scenario just doesn't make sense and leads to no limit fallacy. So you understand. Oh, hold up. Did Karibo not see? Maybe Karibo didn't see when Kisuke also backed up what Ichigo said. Maybe he didn't see that. How the hell did we get here? Oh, I was about to say. Where's it at, bro? What I said was, guys, 94. No. What did I say, 60? 64. The So yeah, Karibo, maybe you're missing the part where Kisuke reinforces that notion and he calls Ichigo naive for thinking he doesn't have a Zanpakuto. You let your guard down. You think this can't be a Zanpakuto because I'm not a Soul Reaper. So you think it won't hurt to be cut by it. Eh? How incredibly naive. Wake up. This blade is very much a Zanpakuto. Why would he go out his way to say all these things? And mind you, here's the thing. Ichigo didn't say any of this shit out loud. Aren't Zanpakuto the only things that can injure Soul Reapers and Hollows? That sword came out of his cane. It can't be a Zanpakuto. He didn't say any of this out loud. Kisuke then says, you think this can't be a Zanpakuto because I'm not a Soul Reaper. So you think it won't hurt to be cut by it. He didn't say any of these things. Why would Kisuke be saying these things? He didn't hear Ichigo say any of this stuff. He thought this stuff Ichigo did. But Kisuke, knowing that Ichigo would have this idea because he's a spiritual body and thus shouldn't be hurt by anything that's not really spiritual in nature, says that. So no, it's not a no limits fallacy. It is not taking Ichigo's words however you were saying. Not but buddies. Where was I at? Devil Fruit feats doesn't scale AP, no? Devil Fruit feats do scale AP because they are literally... So here's the thing. The Devil Fruits are one with the user. So while they have the fruit, of course, I mean, like, obviously, right? While they have the fruit and are using the fruit, it is a reflection of how powerful they are as individuals. But there's still a thing of the fruit being the reason, or the fruit doing the heavy lifting. The Gora Gora no Mi, aka the Quake fruit, would be doing the heavy lifting. Although it's Whitebeard's strength that allows the fruit to be so powerful, Whitebeard is not planetary without the fruit. The only reason he can destroy the planet is because the fruit's ability to affect the planet via earthquakes. He's not planetary without the fruit. So yes, they do scale to AP. Devil Fruit feats do scale to AP, but like when we're talking about like something like that, then no, not really, no. Bro, hyped about the MC for all. Yeah, facts. To be super ratty, Vice Admiral Sora also said that she shouldn't be safe from Whitebeard's quakes or the war, even if she was on the other side of the world. That could suggest range, but is likely. Well, see, no, I'm not mad at range, though. I'm not mad at him having an extraordinary range at all. But the most Whitebeard could do, like I said, is cause structural failure throughout the whole planet. Like, his earthquakes aren't going to vaporize anything. They're not going to pulverize anything. They're going to cause extreme dismantleization of everything, you know, within a certain radius. Probably the planet, right? If he were to do it. I don't think this statement is a hyperbole. It makes sense if Whitebeard's power is affecting the whole seas and islands, then yes, she wouldn't be safe even on the other side of the world. Exactly. I agree with that. Unless I'm misunderstanding physics, Luffy during and after the gold rifle should produce the same AP even without the ball in his arm. Its weight is a hindrance, not an imp, especially since he's punching mid-air without a foothold to plant himself. Hold up, you don't think Luffy punching with the weight of gold in his hand increased the AP? Mind you, Luffy slingshotted the attack. It's not like he ran up and then like did this. If I remember correctly, he slingshotted the attack. Michael, have you ever used a slingshot? Have you ever used a slingshot, Michael? The kinetic energy built up, the potential energy built up is a lot more devastating than the actual just like if you ever had a paddle ball, boom, 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 and you let the paddle ball go back, like a whip almost. It's coming back and forth with more force than you doing this. So I don't know. Like your physics might not be wrong or anything like that, but to say the gold on his hand didn't help the AP, that's tough to say, man. I don't know. I might ask Vector about it when I start doing the research for it. It depends on the Devil Fruit user in question. Croc's durability should scale to his AP, as his body could withstand punches from Luffy that tore through his sand blades. Yes, I agree. I believe they showed islands around the globe feeling the quakes, even tsunamis being caused in certain areas and such. True. We saw one island dealing with aftershocks after Whitebeard downs a giant, and later the people on Sabaody mentioned a tsunami coming their way after Teach uses the fruit. Exactly. So it kind of reinforces what I've been saying. Structural. Oh my God. Structural. Fuck that word. What's another word for structural? It kind of reinforces what I'm saying about the integrity of the planet failing. Yeah. If tsunamis are being caused across the world by his quake powers from somewhere else, it alludes to integrity of the planet failing. God, I hate that fucking word. Also, why would Sura speak hyperbolically in this instance? In what context would her speaking in hyperbolic make sense? Occam's razor, her being literal in that instance is more likely than not, in my opinion. That's fine. That's a good point. If it looks like a jutsu, if it's... Michael is funny as shit. If it looks like a jutsu, if it talks like a jutsu, yeah, it might be a jutsu. Need Ab-Stract to catch up with New A's Exorcist, mix up the matchups a bit. Gakudo's current team rescuing Rukia better than Ichigo and friends, mostly on coordination. Okay, we'll see. By the way, where do you scale each of Naruto and One Piece cosmology? I don't think Naruto even understands its cosmology right now. So far, we have an unknown planet where the Otsutsuki come from. Then we have the planet Earth, where the Naruto people live. There's the Kamaru dimension, Kaguya's dimensions, and then the separate dimensions that the Otsutsuki live on. The thing is, I don't know if these... I've heard that these are just dimensions within the universe, not separate dimensions themselves with their own temporal axes. I've heard this before. I don't know. I don't know about Naruto. See, but like... You don't really... Cosmology scaling isn't really all that to me. The only reason I did the Bleach video, because I was interested in the cosmology of the Bleach universe. But I don't plan on using the cosmology to scale this series. I'm not doing anything like that. You don't need to know how far away the eye is. The story is trying to communicate scale by affirming Sengoku's and Sura's words. It is implied that the world was in chaos. I agree. Jirobo versus Boro. Oh my god. Jirobo actually might win that. Save for Boro's fucking virus, Jirobo wins that. They don't, but whatever, lol. Biju still grow. Let them grow. Let them grow. We should totally watch the Lorax. The Biju are babies. Do you think they just get bigger randomly? Imagine claiming NFL to the most obvious fact imaginable. Souls can't be hurt by physical power. Growth in terms of power is what I was referring to. Obviously, they were created as kids. Thoughts on strong hockey users possibly scaling higher NAP than Whitebeard's fruit? Given Kaido's statement that hockey transcends all, or is the primary factor in determining who would become the Pirate King? I have no problem with strong hockey users scaling higher than Whitebeard's devil fruit. It makes perfect sense. I mean, like, the thoughts on it are Garp was relative to Roger. Roger was the king of the pirates. Roger was stronger than or very relative to Edward Newgate, a.k.a. Whitebeard. All these guys are fighting together. Garp, Edward Newgate, Roger. Only one of them had a devil fruit. Shanks is comparable. Shanks is stronger than Whitebeard, old ass. He's stronger than Whitebeard. Shanks has no devil fruit. He's only hockey. I mean, I don't have too much to say on it. The series pretty much outlines that hockey by itself is fucking ridiculous. It makes up the difference between having a devil fruit and not. If you have a devil fruit, cool. But if I have better hockey than you and your devil fruit, you're still losing. So, yeah. They were split from the Ten Tails power, so their power is consistent from Chapter 1 to Boruto. There is no growth unless they assimilate with their Shinchuriki. I agree with that. The only growth would come in from the Biju's chakra control themselves. That would be the only growth, getting better at chakra control. They shouldn't be able to get more power, though, unless Kurama can, like, go into fucking Sage mode or some bullshit. There are masses of living energy. Ironically, Kaido's statement is more hyperbolic than anything Soda said about Whitebeard's power, lol. Even Ten Tails vary. Boruto introduced the juvenile Ten Tails. Yeah, see, but that's a Ten Tails of a different origin. That's not the Ten Tails of their planet. That's a different Ten Tails altogether, made with different things. So, of course, like, not all Ten Tails are going to be the same Ten Tails in power. That just wouldn't make sense based on the lore of the series. That wouldn't make sense. I consider this slingshot analogy for why Luffy might not scale to the gold rifle in base, but realistically, given the weight difference, Luffy's body should have slingshotted towards the ball. Not if he's rubber, Michael. Like, bro. No, I don't see that. You gotta imagine. He's riding that scooter with Nami. His arm is... Oh... Now, it took Luffy's strength. It took his full strength. It took Luffy's full strength being dragged to pull his arm and launch it, right? But you have to remember, Luffy can stretch a very, very, very far way without tearing, right? And so the distance it had to cover was only between the point where him and Nami were and Inaru. Not that long. Definitely not long enough for the force to pull him, because it hit Enel right away, and then it pretty much broke after that. And then we also have to remember, like, this is still One Piece. This is still anime. I wouldn't be looking for a one-to-one in every category as far as, well, okay, if Luffy did do this, well, then his body would go with the weight of... Not in every instance. Like, yes, when he first gets it and he can't move and he keeps falling because of the weight of it, yes. But, like, if he's slingshotting himself and it hits Enel, how like, you can't fault Oda for being inconsistent a little bit, right? Irrelevant. I'm talking about power. Well, good night, everyone. Hey, take it easy, Shinigami. Constructural would be another word for structural. See, I can read it just fine, structural. It's just when I happen to say it fast, it's so fucking annoying. But thank you, Kai. Regardless of his own strength, and especially with the lack of foothold that Luffy could pull it in the direction he wanted to go midair, tells me that it's entirely his strength. I believe it's his strength that pulled it. But to say, I don't know, Michael, to say he's hitting with the same force as his fist and gold, I just can't see that, bro. That's just like, I don't know about that. The cosmology is not organized in Narutoverse. Yeah, it's not organized yet. I wouldn't even talk about it yet. A living mass of energy, more mass means more. A living mass of energy, more mass means their energy is growing. On Fairy Tale Cosmology, Michael asked the Ignil, are the parallel worlds a multiverse, or do they occupy the same universe given Fairy's statement in 100 Years Quest? By your logic, Kurama is only as powerful as he is big and should shrink every time he outputs energy, like Choji. You're being very fallacious here. Yours truly, Highness, says Ab-Stract. Whitebeard, without using his Devil Fruit, is stronger to or equal to than Roger. Whitebeard is a beast. Do we know that? Because in the flashback, he uses the Quick Break Fruit, doesn't he? Luffy wasn't on the scooter when he did the gold rifle. At most, he had launched himself upwards from a cloud but after that, he leveled out his arm at shoulder height leading up to the puncture. Okay, you know what? Hey, Michael, I can do this. I can go back and do my research on Sky P. It's been a while since I watched it, so I can definitely do that. Yes, he did. No, he didn't. You're saying Whitebeard didn't use his Devil Fruit when fighting Roger? So I got a yes, he didn't, and then no, he didn't. Chapter 298. Okay. See, the thing is, I don't have One Piece pulled up here. I'll put it in my notes. Michael, because I'm actually about to get out of here. I got to finish eating, then go to bed. But this was good. I think I got my matchups for One Piece versus Bleach, chapter 298. Thank you for that. And I have to shower. Is when the gold rifle happens. Got you, bro. Got you. I haven't read the last 10 chapters of Fairy Tail. But if it's stated to be a multiverse, then I see no reason for it not being one. Roger was dying and Whitebeard was in his prime, using his devil fruit in hockey and still ended in a stalemate. That's true. Yep, he didn't use it. He did. Hey yo, y'all gotta settle this because I don't know who to believe at this point. Whitebeard only used advanced color of coding against Roger. He briefly used the quakes when Roger begged to have Odin. Kurama looks like malnutrition when they take his chakra. Got you, Ig. Kurama looks like malnutrition when they take his chakra. Yeah, he looks like that when they take his chakra in his inner world, not like in the real world. Bro, Roger is a fraud. I can't, man. Y'all funny. I don't think Roger's a fraud. He's a goat. Yeah. Roger's the goat. Yeah. Roger's the goat. Hey, take it easy, Michael. Regardless, he drew a man with 1 year left of life who could barely get out of bed once per week. That's crazy. But all right, y'all. We gonna end it here. Thanks for pulling up. I think I had one new person join us tonight. A Lil versus World, something like that. Very cool name. I don't know where you guys come up with these names, but I like it. Always a big fan of names and stuff. He literally had anime. He literally had anime cancer and still drew Prime Whitebeard in a full day battle. Yeah, that's crazy. But all right, we're gonna end it here, y'all. Take it easy. Join us on next time on the Ab-Stract section. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, share the stream. If you enjoyed the content, share the stream, please. Tell your friends I'm very cool. All right, bye, y'all. Yeah, take it easy, Rev. Oh, Rev, don't forget to respond to my latest thing. Take your time, of course, because I definitely took my time. But make sure you respond to the latest thing. And then I have something to share with you, Rev, too. I have something to share with you. And Ignil, I'm going to check out whatever you send me on Discord as well. We'll be in talks about streaming tomorrow. It might happen, it might not. It really just depends, bro, on the when I get home. Yeah, it kind of just depends on when I get home because I'm heading back to Maryland tomorrow. I'm number one. Good stream. See y'all. Take it easy, Your Highness. I like that. Because I usually say yours truly, Highness, but I think I'm going to just start calling you Your Highness. That's fire. I like it. Kurama also can shrink and expand his tail so he is not showing his